When you are aligned, when your actions match your thoughts, when your thoughts match your feelings, when your feelings match your beliefs, you're quite literally unstoppable. Whatever action you take is going to bend reality to your will, is going to unfold perfectly in your favor. However, if you're all over the place, if you believe one thing and then it's generating an emotion, but then you're thinking the opposite way and you're taking actions upon your thoughts, then it's all going to go to a waste. It might work out, and I'll tell you in just a moment how that also could work out. And or vice versa, your actions, you're taking actions based on your beliefs, but you're feeling bad about it, you're thinking bad about it, because your beliefs, whatever self-limiting beliefs you're acting upon your self-limiting beliefs, and then you feel bad about it because you know you're worth more, you know you're called to a deeper meaning, to a deeper purpose, and your thoughts are aligned perhaps with your feelings or with your actions. Your logical mind is thinking one thing: yes, I should go for this thing, this is more going to provide me with more stability, with more safety. And then your feeling is telling you to venture into the unknown, to take that leap of faith, to pursue your calling, and then your beliefs are limiting you from that. See, when it's all over the place, it turns out to end up as a failed experience. Or it could actually work out, but you're going to have to put so much more effort towards that thing. You're going to have to take way more action towards that thing in order for it to work out, in order for it to align with your intention towards it. And that's because you are misaligned. You're not putting your full source of energy into one thing. You're not in a one-point focus. You're all over the place, and now your energy is dispersed and it's not condensed within one point focused into one thing. And so the journey, your path, your journey ends up being more of a struggling experience. It will hold more struggles and more suffering, and you'll feel terrible through it. Versus when it's, aligned action and aligned feeling, when it's action based on alignment, when you're all just at one point, mind, body, soul, essence, and higher self, when you're aligned with your higher self, your higher calling, your higher purpose. Now, magic starts happening when that's your reality. But the question is, how much effort should I actually invest into something? How much of my physical energy should I invest into that thing? How much action should I take? How long should I take action for until that thing happens, until that thing is created in my reality, until I'm able to shift into that reality from the amount of energy I've invested into that thing, that physical energy? Because we hold so much value towards physical action. Whenever we take action, we feel as if we have fulfilled our purpose. But if it's just thoughts and feelings and beliefs, I'm deserving of that thing, I'm worthy of that thing, it's hard to make yourself believe that you are aligned with something, that this thing is your truth, when you don't take action towards it. But that's, according to your perspective, that depends on who you are, because it's not about the action, it's about how much you believe that you are close to that thing, how much you believe that you are aligned with that which you seek. And so action is, since prehistoric times, because we come from a survival background, because we've relied so much on hard work is the way, this is how you get things done, this is how you succeed in life, take action. And you might hear everyone around you, telling you to, all that matters is, stay consistent with your actions, keep acting upon your dream reality, and eventually it's going to happen. And while that might be the truth, while that might be a relative truth, it's not an absolute truth. And that's the key factor here, because depending on who you are, you might not be able to have that relative truth. You might not be able, you might not have the capability to commit to something that is just a relative truth. And an absolute truth is going to be so much more easier, it's going to be so much more affluent, it's going to be so much more magical, and it will not really be a crippling experience. And that's where effortless action comes into play. That's where effortless action becomes a dictating factor in your reality. And so, what does it mean to act effortlessly? What does it mean to consistently take action which you do not struggle through, which does not feel bad? Because, contrary to common belief, you do not have to actually struggle and suffer through your pursuit in order for it to become a reality. The only reason we suffer and struggle is because we are challenging against beliefs, against self-limiting beliefs, against opposing feelings and opposing thoughts. That's the only reason you suffer. And the other reason perhaps that we suffer is because we end up taking action, and then we think that this action, we took it intuitively and effortlessly, and we followed our heart, and so we should expect results immediately. We should end up, once we take that action, once we put some effort, we should end up at our end point, at the finish line immediately. But that's not how reality works. That's not how things work, because the more you progress on your journey, the more blockages start surfacing, and the more challenges arises on your journey. It's like an interrelated feedback loop. If I've spoken about this before, an interrelated feedback loop is an experience or a situation in which the input leads to the output, and the output not leads, the input feeds the output, and the output simultaneously feeds the input. So it's a feedback loop. So for example, you take an action, and then you're starting your own business, for example, and then you take action towards that business, and then you're able to start it, and it's actually going, and once it gets going and you get some clients, another problem arises, another challenge, you're faced with another challenge, you start to lack the motivation, you start to face a decrease in your clients. And that's because once you break through that initial barrier, once you break through that initial blockage, now you're setting a path for yourself, you're opening a path for yourself. And now this path could have ups and downs, falls and pits, and some good times and some bad times, just like with anything else. And so once you unlock this first blockage, you send a powerful signal that you are on your path of healing, that you are on your path of shifting, that you are about to break through. And so everything else that's been blocking you starts surfacing. And for them to surface, and for you to actually address those blockages and heal them consciously, you have to face some external challenges, because that's our best teacher, whether we like it or not. Unfortunately, we learn best through adversity. We learn best when we are going through tough and dark times. That's just been humankind nature since a very long time. You could choose to heal and explore when you're in a place of bliss and joy and love, but we tend to delay it, we tend to procrastinate with that, because whenever we're already joyful, whenever we already have everything we want, we don't want to take from that joy. We don't want to experience opposing thoughts and opposing feelings, negative feelings, when we are already on a good path, when we are already feeling positive and good. But when we go in the dark, when we're facing tough times and we're feeling bad, it's like, we already feel bad. It's like, I'm already there, why not go all the way? And that's how, I'm already there, why not, try to experience the whole spectrum in order for me to be able to finally emerge anew from all of those traumas, or all of those blockages, or all of those self-limiting beliefs. That's why, dark times has always been a trigger for humankind to advance and develop and evolve throughout the years. But the thing is, as for an interrelated feedback loop, what happens is that you tend to think that you are not progressing when you don't see immediate results, when you don't see immediate, instant, endpoints and feedback from, positive feedback, you think that you're not on the right path, and you tend to lack, you tend to take another step back, you tend to resist this journey, and as such you resist the end results that you've been seeking. As such, you resist your purpose. You might be on the right path, you might be going through the right journey towards your purpose, to your meaning, to your bliss, to your joy, to your abundance, to your love, but you end up resisting it because it simply did not give you an instant result. So those are the two main points why we end up struggling and suffering. It's just our awareness of the thing. Once you're aware, once you understand the process, that's half of the journey. There's not much more left. Taking the action or acting upon it, or being that thing or feeling that thing is, it's easier than actually being aware, realizing, revealing what you need to do, what needs to be done. How does this go? Now, how much action should you take? How much effort should you exert towards something for it to be fulfilled, for it to manifest into your reality, for you to be able to create it into this reality, to shift to its reality? And this depends majorly, heavily on how much effort you believe you should take. As simple as that. And what that means is if you think that you consistently have to be suffering and struggling and going through adversities in order for you to shift your reality, perhaps you're listening to some motivators and some influencers, and they share their stories of how much suffering they've been through, how much they've struggled along their path so that they were able to actually find their joy and freedom and abundance and loving life, the life they've been seeking, and you actually associate it with yourself. You think to yourself, oh, then so should I. I should go through all of this adversities. I should suffer this much in order for me to, so it's okay, and you accept it as your truth. You believe it as your truth, and that dictates that unless you actually suffer this much, unless you struggle this much, unless you feel this enough negativity, you won't be able to shift your reality. You won't be able to create your dream life. And that's just self-imposed belief. It's a limiting factor. You created that limiting factor for yourself. And unfortunately, we have more of those than we think, because no matter how much we like to think that we expanded our consciousness, that I'll just sit in meditation and believe in myself, believe that I'm a match with that reality, believe that I don't have to take so much action towards that thing, towards achieving that thing, and so as such it's going to manifest effortlessly. We have been operating and functioning based on the previous paradigm for years upon years, upon decades, and now you're simply trying to, and it even stems from our survival, survival of the fittest. That's how the ego functions. That's how the 3D functions. The more you suffer, the more you struggle, the harder you work, the easier your life is going to get, the better results you're going to see. But we know for a fact that this is not necessarily an absolute truth, because many across the entire world suffer through so much, they struggle through so much, they work so hard, all the work harders, the hardest people who work, actually they don't make that much money, they're not living their dream life, and that's simply because they think that this is their life. They just don't they either don't seem to have that perspective towards the future, or they don't think that they are worthy of more in this life. And that's part of your self-limiting beliefs. So it depends on how much action you believe you need to take. So we remain influenced to a great extent by this egoistic survival point of view. So there is still a certain level of, a specific level of action that you need to take, specific level of effort that you need to take. But once you see the results, once and twice, you see how effortless creation could be, you see how effortless, achieving success could be, whatever that is, finding your loving partner, finding abundance, being joyful, being free, Once you see how effortless that could be, now it's easier and easier. It becomes more and more effortless. Now you start believing, once it clicks, that I don't need to take that much action, that I don't need to put that much effort into this thing, and I can just, be that thing internally, align with that thing internally, focus on myself and what I want to do, how I want to feel, focus on the emotions I'm seeking out of that thing that I actually seek externally, focus on the emotions it's going to provide me. Once you realize that you are pure conscious energy, and whatever form you choose to take, it manifests in this 3D reality, it becomes easier and easier for you to manifest effortlessly, to create with no struggles and with no suffering. But at first, you've got to get the hang of it. You've got to master it gradually. And so when you're trying to achieve something, the amount of action necessary is equivalent to your belief about that thing, about how much action is necessary for that thing. That's pure and simple. That's plain and simple. There's not much more to it. If you believe that there's 1, 2, and 3, 10 steps between you and that point, when you feel that this is so far-fetched, and unless you take all of those actions, you spend all of this money, and you go hungry, you starve yourself, and you have to sleep in your car for some time and spend all of that money on marketing and get in connection with all of those people in order for you to achieve that thing, then it simply will abide by those laws. It will abide by this truth that you have created. Similarly, because I've had a business and it failed, and I've worked so hard and I struggled and I suffered so much through it, but I could not see that I could, that this business could, although it had massive potential, it was in prime location, and the traffic to that location was crazy, but I did not believe that I was worthy of having all of those people come to my place as my clients, as my customers. I did not believe that. It was not really within me, because I was just coming from struggling from an experience of suffering, and I've been suffering for quite some time before that, and now I acted upon that. I took that business opportunity because I was afraid, because I was desperate to get back in life, to find back the abundance, the freedom that I was living in. And that only created more blockages. That only created a bigger gap between me and that thing, more steps between me and that thing. So always know that you are able to achieve anything effortlessly. Take a break, give yourself credit for the smallest of details, because the more you do so, the more you're just feeling good about it. It will never happen when you're not feeling good about it. As long as you feel good about it, it means that you are fulfilling your quota of effort towards it, if you will. So it's if you feel good about it, that's a very good sign. If you feel good about being in it, about working through it, it's a very good sign that this is happening, that this is going in your way. And so when you are working, when you are acting from alignment, this effort will not be very effortful. It's going to be very effortless. And what that means is, if you align yourself, everything is going to come to you intuitively. And so whatever action is necessary for you to take towards that goal, towards achieving that goal, whatever effort you must exert is going to come to you intuitively, and it's going to feel as a calling. And now you receive a surge in your energy with that calling. The moment you receive an intuition, you receive a surge in your energy to act upon it. And that surge of your energy is going to make it feel effortless. And so rather than it being a terrible, an experience of struggling and hard work, and it's going to be more of a love experience. You're acting out of passion, out of motivation, out of eagerness. You're excited to work on it, and that's how effortless action could be. And no matter how much action, how much effort you need to put in, how many actions you need to take, it's all going to be so effortless. And so because you believe that about that thing, you believe that you don't need to figure it all out, to put all of that effort, but rather that you are the manifestation of your higher consciousness, and as such, whatever you imagine, whatever you believe in, you deserve it and you earn it effortlessly. With that being said, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, because it helps me so much, and it helps this video find its way to many more others who might actually need it. Thank you so much for tuning in to another video by AF's Conscious Frequency.